then you suddenly lose your bursary. So I couldn't have bursary at the time. And then when I was going to enroll for my third year, I didn't have any funding, right? So it became a thing where now I had to sit at home without going to school, because at that time, at that young age, you are frustrated because the only thing that you wanted was to get education, because in this world that we're living in, we were promised like free education. So that's all the thing that I wanted, to see myself being at school studying like all the other kids. Because that opportunity was denied to me. I was like, okay, you know what, since I'm in Johannesburg, how about I just go down the road, because there's university. Yes, there's a University of Johannesburg.
What's your vision in the engineering environment? Where do you want to see yourself maybe in the next 5 to 7 years in engineering environment?
I would say the short-term goal for the moment is to...
Something really concerning. If you look at the number of subscriptions on this channel, you'll see that it's very low. It hurts me. It doesn't make me happy. So if you're new on this channel, or you've been watching our videos and you love what we do and you would like to support us, kindly hit that subscribe button, like and share the video with your loved ones. This will help to grow this channel to reach multitudes all around the world, because that is the plan, to keep on inspiring and motivating people around the world to become the best in whatever you do, to become successful in whatever way that you wish to become successful. So thank you very much for hitting that subscribe button, because I believe that by now you have subscribed. You haven't? Thank you. Okay, enjoy the video. What's up, visionaries? Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Vision. And today, sitting next to me is one of my brothers, one of my closest brothers. And before we start this podcast, I would just like to say that he's a great guy. He's a very kind person. I've known him since 2022, when I was doing my first year in University of Johannesburg. We were in the same class. We were both doing mechanical engineering. And as a matter of fact, we finished, both of us, on record time. And by grace of God, we got the job, graduate program in the same company. Now we work in the same company. We stay together. So this is my boy. This is my brother. And he's a great guy. Everyone, welcome my brother, Josian. Sure, boy. I'm good.
Thanks for having me.
I'm good. Now, man, you're welcome.
Thanks.
You're welcome. We've been waiting for this.
Finally,
we are here. Finally, I'm interviewing the VP.
Aspiring VP.
Yeah, he pronounced himself as the VP, the Vice President of Manufacturing. Before we proceed, man, I just want to ask you a question. How are you able to keep your composure in almost every situation, where sometimes as we freak out? Like, I've really noticed that there's so many situations that mean I get a bit pissed or angry sometimes, but I always see you that you remain calm. You're always, in your positive mindset. How do you do that?
That's a very good question. Thanks for that one. I would say, Mr. Vision, for myself, I think it only starts from being patient. I would say patience played a key role in such instances, because for me, what it does is, with patience, my guy, you need to be able to be in a space where now, because we'll be surrounded by people, right?
Yeah.
So be in a space where now you could be accommodative of everyone who is involved at that particular instance. So with me, and being patient like that, it has always been the most critical thing that I can relate, that has made me to relate with people in most cases.
Yeah.
So, and another thing I would say, it's to believing in yourself in most cases.
Sure.
Just trust yourself, and then also your abilities. So you can be surrounded with most of the other things, but one thing that I've realized with experience as well was that if you are in the most quiet moments in your life, right? Once you just let all the noise, you shut all the noise.
Sure.
I think you can you can think properly at that particular moment. So you just remove any distractions in your life and you focus on the end goal. So in that instances, that's why those are the two things that I will say that has helped me to get along with people in that kind of manner. Sure.
You mentioned a very important thing, closing the doors from every noise.
Sure.
Because right now we live in the world where there is noise everywhere.
Correct.
And in everything that you do, you find that there is noise in different ways.
Sure.
It might be a noise in form of people, it might be a noise in forms of situations, but being able to shut your mind off the noise and just focus on your goals, focus on what you see working is a very important thing, which I feel like many people don't actually believe that sometimes spending time alone, not listening to music, not reading anything, just keeping quiet for a short period of time.
Yeah.
Some people don't believe that it helps you to calm down and actually be in your peak level where you are able to think straight, you're able to find solutions for some situations that you think you don't have solution for.
Right.
Just by keeping quiet and shutting your mind from whatever noise that may be surrounding you. So I think that's a very important thing as well. Also, when you're dealing with people, because there are some things that will hurt you, or let me say they will strike your patience sometimes.
Yes.
They will test your patience, but being able to keep your composure every time and always stand ground on who you are and never freak out in situations. It needs something like that where you're able to shut your mind off from whatever noise you may be going through.
True.
So I just wanted to pass through that because it's one of the critical things that I've seen about you. I've never really seen you freak out in any situation. Though we live together day to day, we travel to work together,
Sure.
but whatever situation, I've never really seen you freak out, So I think that's one of the things I'm actually learning as well, because I try. There are things that, someone can do and they just piss me off in a way that I don't even want to talk anymore. I just want to keep quiet. And keeping quiet doesn't mean that I know I'm shutting the noise. Sometimes I'm keeping quiet because I know if I speak, I'm going to be, saying some things that I don't want to say. You know what I mean? So I think that's one of the things that I'm learning from you. So tell us, man, who is Hosiami? Just give me a background of who you are. How was your upbringing? Where did you study?
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Okay. My name is Hosiami, as you introduced. My name is Hosiami Mushuhi, and I was born in Johannesburg, the east side of Johannesburg, in a place called Katlehong.
Sure.
So I've spent most of my time here in Katlehong, went to primary school there, high school, that's where I also went to high school in Katlehong. And then from Katlehong, then after graduating my high school years, then I went then for tertiary education.
Sure.
So I started first at University of Witwatersrand, which is commonly known as Wits, after matric, where I pursued aeronautical engineering.
Okay.
So I did for my aeronautical engineering for 2 years, and then after 2 years, and then took a gap year after 2 years. The reason because of that, with most people what I have had communications with was because if you are coming from Wits, so as one of the top universities, and particularly for this particular course that I was studying at the time, because it's only offered at the University of Witwatersrand.
Okay.
So the people will always assume that if you are coming from that particular university and then moving on to another university, because I changed courses, right? But particularly it's still the same course, but it's just that the other one is the specialty of what I graduated with.
Sure.
So they will always assume that because you have failed of some of the other things. So I did my first year in the year 2019.
Okay.
Right? So that's when I did 2019, 2020, and then that was my second year. And then because it was that time of COVID, then I lost my sponsorship. Obviously, okay, one of the reasons was that some of the courses were demanding. And then at that time, you were new into this whole new thing because it was the introduction of learning from home, right? So you couldn't have the support that we were used to. So some of the other things, they were difficult at that particular instance. And then so I had to, I did very well. And then some of the other courses, yes, there will be things that you didn't do quite as much as you thought like you would perform, right? So because of that, yes, you have passed, but then your average then couldn't be at that that they want. So because of that, what the sponsors wanted, and then because of that, then you suddenly lose your bursary. So I couldn't have bursary at the time. And then when I was going to enroll for my third year, I didn't have any funding, right? So it became a thing where now I had to sit at home without going to school because I couldn't have, because the fees at University of Witwatersrand, to be honest, they are quite expensive. And coming from the family where I'm coming from, so they couldn't keep pay up for my registration fees. So I had to sit down at home. I applied for other bursaries, but unfortunately I couldn't get them because it was that tricky moment in life where there was COVID-19. So with no sponsorship. So I had to stay the whole 2021 being at home. Other peers of mine, obviously the friends that I've made from varsity at the time, they were already going to school. So what I did then was, because I stayed the whole year, right, without doing anything. Yes, I tried to apply for jobs and then tried to apply for anything, at least that could keep me busy, right? But unfortunately, I couldn't get anything. So I spent my whole of 2021, 2020. 2021 actually. Yes, 2021, because my second year was in 2020. Spent the whole of 2021, and then there was a time when I think second semester where I had to reapply again, and then for them to at least admit me for the second time at University of Johannesburg. So at Wits University. So the problem with that,
you applied at Wits as well.
I applied
2021.
Okay, when I was applying first, I applied at Wits and then UJ and then SMU. So SMU was for medicine and then Wits as well as medicine. But at SMU, they took me for medicine, right? Because my first choice, I wanted to become a doctor and then to go and study medicine.
Yeah.
But the thing is, moving from high school and then going now to being an independent person, I didn't want to be away from home.
Okay.
So Johannesburg, that's where I'm from. Right?
Sure.
So I was like, the closest institution was University of Johannesburg and Wits University. Right. I didn't want to go to UJ, and then I ended up opting for the option of Wits University. Correct. And then I did that, stayed the whole of 2021. And then for medicine at Wits, they didn't take me for medicine. Right. They only took me at medicine at UP and SMU, because I also applied at SMU. So because of that, I tried to gain entrance again for that aeronautical I was doing then. But however, with management of how it works, because I was in MIA, that department, we were less of us that were doing aeronautical engineering, right? And then most people were in industrial and mechanical.
Okay.
Right. So it was a difficult transition thing for me to move from aeronautical to mechanical, because the class was already full at that time. At Wits University. So I couldn't, because I wanted to change from aeronautical because the fees were high, and then I couldn't be paid up for that. And then I wanted to do mechanical engineering.
Sure.
So because of that, I couldn't be accepted into mechanical engineering. Then I tried to apply for other things, and then your biological sciences degree. And then because I ended up like, okay, you know what, let me just go and focus on medicine, right? Obviously, I didn't also get entranced into that. So I had to stay the whole of 2020. And then after that, it passed, and then I applied. Fortunately, because I've already applied at UJ, because I had a student number. So when I went to Wits University, because of that, they took me from pillar to post. So I ended up not getting school. And at that time, at that young age, you are frustrated because the only thing that you wanted was to get education, because in this world that we're living in, we were promised like free education. So that's all the thing that I wanted, to see myself being at school, studying like all the other kids. Because that opportunity was denied to me, I was like, okay, you know what, since I'm in Johannesburg, how about I just go down the road, because there's university. Yes, there's a University of Johannesburg. Then I started in APK. So in APK, they're doing a BEng, that side, which is mostly similar to what I was doing at Wits University, which is a BSc, right? So that I tried to apply for mechanical, and they were like, you know what, my guy, yes, we see your results, your very good results that you have, but unfortunately at this point in time, the program is already full as well. So we cannot have anything to do with you here. So
when was this? Was it early 2022?
2021.
2021,
yes,
okay.
2021. Because I wouldn't have allowed myself to go back to stay another year behind without going to school. So I had to force things to happen. So I went to UJ in Auckland Park, the main one. So the person that I was speaking was like, my guy, we can't help you with anything because the program is already full and you have already applied late. So, but what I can do for you, because the one in DFC, I might contact some people at DFC, the main office, and then to try to get you into the program. And unfortunately, they were like, okay, got into the call, and then they were like, okay, sharp, the person can come to DFC, we have space for that person. And then that's when then I decided from that on that particular day, I was like, let me just get to DFC, and then that's how I got into mechanical engineering. And then I did my first year, and then during that moment as well, that's when I applied for, there was this other scholarship, so the Fidel Castro Mandela scholarship for medicine. That was for Cuba, to go and study medicine in Cuba. I did the applications, and because of that period of COVID-19, there was no international travels. So everything, communication, then it just stops. So there was no communication from the Department of Health to me, right? So I was already enrolled at mechanical engineering first at UJ. What's the 2022 together,
that's 2022,
right? That's 2022 together. I think during my second semester, when everything started to ease down, the lockdown conditions, I then got a call from Cuba to say, guy, you can come for medicine. And then my mind was like, you know what? Because I was from one institution, then I'm on the another institution. I cannot now be in a position where now I have left something without being complete. Now I've started something else now. And then I'm going to leave it without being complete. At that time, already your friends are already going to be finishing soon. I was like, you know what? That medicine thing, yes, it was a dream. But I was like, you know what? I will try it much at the later stage. I was like, let me just leave it for now. And mind you, the call that I got, I was in class, right? So they called first. I didn't take it because I was in class. Then they had to call the secondary number that I registered on the form, which was at home. Right? So they called my mother, and then they were like, no, this person is in class, so he cannot speak at the moment. So I think they shared the details to say, can you please tell him to come for medical test? He has already been taken to join the program. Then later on, then I received the phone call again. They were like, hey, my guy. And they were like, hey, step outside the class and like receive the. I'm like, I know what, guys. No, I'm okay with that. I've already been enrolled at this institution, and I would like to pursue whatever that I've started and then finish what I have, maybe at the later stage. So that's why then I ended up not going that route of medicine. Yes, but hey, they were very pissed at me because of that.
But tell me, how did you deal with the frustration and the pain of not being able to study because you don't have funding? When you can see that some of your friends that you actually, some of them you left them behind in high school, you know, to some of them, I'm sure you were a hot man, you know, you're at varsity, they're looking up to you, but now you are at home, 2021, you're not doing anything. How did you deal with the situation mentally and also socially?
Okay. So I'll start with the mental part of it. It is frustrating, to be quite honest. So the fortunate thing is that I had a good supporting system from home. Right. So that played a major role in keeping me calm at all times. And again, it goes back to that thing of saying how I was raised was that my child, you need to be patient with most of the other things. Yes, we may want certain things to happen faster rate, but that's not how life works. Sometimes you just have to be humbled and other things. Enjoy your journey of life, and then things will just come. Focus on the good things first, and then things will just happen as you grow up. And I was like, I listened to that. So coming to the frustrations that I had, obviously at that point in time, you are young and naive, you don't know much of the other things. So you may listen to other people saying, okay, this is how things work, but you already have your way of thinking as well. So you want things as bad as you want them. So, but if things don't get to work your own way, you don't understand. You get frustrated.
Why?
You don't understand why. All of my peers that are at school, why me? Do you understand? Why me? Why is this happening to me? But because of the supporting structure that I had to humble myself, and then that kept me calm to say, okay, maybe you wanted this, but because God worked in mysterious ways, the plan had to change to say, this is the plan. I want you to go this route. Right? Whilst everyone is going this way, this is yours. And then I had to learn that quickly to say, not all the time that you have to follow where the crowd is going.
Right.
Some of the other things you have to create them your way. So they always emphasize on the same okay, okay, how can I put it? So which loosely translates to where you want to go. Basically, you will always get guidance from the ones that have walked the journey. Sometimes it wanted you. Maybe I was an example that I was chosen to say, in this journey, maybe you are the one that we want you to pave the way for the ones that are coming behind.
So that some can learn from you.
So that they can
go through the same thing. Yeah, sure.
That was it.
No, I get it, man.
Sure.
I mean, 2021, I was in grade 12, by the way. And to just try and elaborate on the mental effect. When I was in grade 12, you know, as black kids, also from a not so privileged backgrounds, when you're at that point where you need to go to school, you know, you need to transition either from high school and go to tertiary, or if you are in a gap year, you want to go to school in the following year. You don't want to stay another year, you know, at home doing nothing. So I can concur with you, because when I was in grade 12, my most fear was failing grade 12. But because God's grace, you know, kept me, and he gave me the knowledge and the ability to, you know, become a better student, and I was performing quite well. That was, it became a fear that I was just fearing, what if I'm not able to go and study where I want to study and what I want to study? You know, it went from being scared to fail to worrying now with, you know, universities, this UJ, Wits and UP and whatever, they're so hard to accept, and to accept first year students. So what if, you know, I don't really pass and satisfy, you know, their requirements? So that was kind of a challenge to me mentally. That I think that thing, it affects you mentally in a way that you actually don't realize it, but sometimes it will come that, and it comes later, in a later stage. You don't realize it at that moment that it's affecting you mentally, but constantly stressing and wondering and worrying what's going to happen next. Am I going to pass grade 12? Am I going to get a chance to go and study again? If I go to study, am I going to get sponsorship again, and whatever? Those things, I feel like they affect you mentally. But I just want to know right now, because you went to, you know, we went to varsity together, 3 years, and we finished on record time. How do you feel right now that you finished you know, your mechanical engineering degree in 3 years? Not many people finish that degree in on record time. We started with so many people in 2022 that some of them, we left them behind. They're still, you know, doing their final year right now. But how do you feel that you enrolled at UJ, even though, you know, you went through so much hurdles in 2021? How do you feel that now you have actually achieved, you know, such a degree, and more to that, you are now working? You didn't finish your degree and sit home like you did in 2021. You are now working. You finished your degree, and right away you were getting a job. How do you feel about all that?
To be honestly speaking, I'm feeling very proud of myself. Considering the struggles that I have been through. Not everyone who goes through such struggles can make it thus far. So it's one of the moments that teaches you, that opens up your mind to say you need to appreciate the little things that you have. I had the opportunity to do one thing, then I couldn't get done with that. But as soon as I got this opportunity now at UJ, and then to do mechanical engineering, and then you finish at record time, because that was the end goal. So no matter what that I had, so the moment that they said you were accepted, and then I registered, I knew the plan. The plan was to do whatever it takes to finish. Right. Because there were people that were already in doubt to say, yes, coming from the high school, you were this bright student, and then you had everything that you needed. People were already looking up to you. So I had to look at those things. Right? And then all the sacrifices that the parents have made as well in terms of finances. The support I've been getting. So I didn't want to disappoint any of those people. And then also the people that were looking up to me to say, my guy, yes, we understand you have gone through such things, but to you, okay, but from where we are, we see potential. So there were people like that, my teachers from high school as well, the community members, they were like, my guy, yes, such things, they happen in life, but we like the idea that you kept it cool. And through all the odds that you have been through, you managed to conquer. So I had to think of those people while I was first registered at UJ to say, I need to complete this. And then it was not only doing it for the people necessarily, but it was something that I had to fulfill myself so that I can be at peace. Right?
Yeah.
So it's mostly it's a one thing that it's an emotional thing when it comes to me to say I am proud of myself, number one, and I had the motivation as well as the burning fire that kept me going throughout all the difficulties that I've been until the final end.
Yeah.
And as soon as I knew, because even that last year, right, I couldn't even get funding as well because of the NSFAS thing, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't even have any bursary, but I was like, you know what? No matter what, dark or blue, I have to complete this for myself. This is one achievement that I need to hold with my 2 hands to say, this is what I was working for.
Yeah.
So it's a proud moment, to be quite honest.
I would say that, you know, God does things in a mysterious way and in a way that at some point we won't understand. I feel like sometimes we go through things and not because God wants to hurt us, but because God wants to lay out an example for the coming generation or for the people who are going to come. You know, because he saw and he knows your heart. He said, okay, cool. It's not that God brought it, but it's something that maybe it was bound to happen. It's like, okay, cool. He let it happen because he knows your heart. He knows that you can take it as a strong man and you can handle it. You know, and to set an example to someone who will come and when they have to go through the same thing, they might not have the heart that is like yours. But because they might know your story and know, oh, Hosea, he went through this. He went to Wits, studied 2 years, lost funding, and he had to stay at home for a year and then enrolled in another university after a whole year of staying at home. I can do it as well because, you know, you went through it. So I feel like that's one of the things that God sometimes allows them to happen, but for a certain purpose. What advice can you give to someone who maybe is in varsity or is going through the same thing, the same situation? Maybe they are facing, you know, losing sponsorship or anything like academically overall.
Sure. Firstly, losing sponsorship doesn't necessarily mean it's the end of the goal, right? Unfortunately enough, now we have institutions that are always willing to also to fund you. Yours is to continue with the plan that you have. Right. As long as you make sure that you pass every module that you enrolled for, just if whether you have funding or you don't have funding, eventually there's gonna be someone somewhere or the institution that will have to pay for those fees. Yes, it might not be the full amount. But if you keep on knocking at doors, you keep on applying, somehow you will get the funding that you need. So another thing I need you to will advise people to look beyond graduating. Don't just only limit yourself, because in most cases you will find that people are doing degrees that they are not aligned with their purposes or their goals. So we are only doing it for our parents, right? Just to make them proud to say, yes, I have completed, I have gotten this qualification. But what does that qualification do to you? You're not even going to use it. You just only did it for your parents. So what I would say is look beyond that. Yes, you have the qualification, but make sure that the qualification is something that you would use to change the society. So with that, just continue with your plan, and then everything will just align at the end of the day. Sure.
No, I get you, man.
Yes.
I really get you. So now let's talk about, you know, post varsity, after varsity. We just finished, me and you, last year. So
yes,
how are you finding it, the transition that we are undergoing right now from varsity to, you know, workspace? How are you adjusting to that? What are some of the learnings that you can say you are learning right now? Now that, you know, we are no longer studying, but we are in the workspace.
Okay. I think it first starts to acknowledging transition as a transitioning on its own, it is a challenge because we are moving from an environment where now everything we used to do it at our own pace. Right. So you knew, even with the people that we were working with, for any particular assignment that you were given, so you only had one point of reference, which was your lecturer, to get all the information to say, if I'm struggling with this is the person that I'm going to go to get all the guidance
that
you need for you to succeed. So moving from that, so firstly acknowledge that change on its own is not a bad thing. It is a good thing because it's something that allows you to grow as a human being.
Yeah.
So it opens up your mind to say you are now at a stage where you are growing up. So you need to do things. You need to take responsibility of the things that you do. So always appreciate that moment that you say, I am growing up, and then I need to be able to stand on my own feet. We are now moving into a space where now everything doesn't not only affect you, but affects everyone. So first things first, you are working with tight deadlines. So varsity space, you need to know that if they say deadline is on Friday, you can always challenge that to say, can you please ask, we're asking for an extension. Here there's no extension. If they say deadline is tomorrow, deadline is tomorrow. And another thing, everything, you're not just only working on your own. There are different stakeholders that you have to consult with in order for things to happen. And that on its own, it is a challenging thing. It is a challenging thing. And especially if you are one person who is reserved, who doesn't really talk much, because you have to be engaging with all these people. And you need to be aware and cognizant of the point of the fact that you're not only just dealing with your peers that you have graduated with or your fellow graduates, but you're dealing with much more higher people that are much more smarter than you, that you have to seek advices from in order for you to thrive in such environment. So for that on its own, it is a challenge, but however, it is a fulfilling one because you get to realize that there are certain things that you can do that you never thought that you will be able to do. So this space on its own, it is challenging, but with the determination and perseverance, I think you will be good. You'll be doing great. It's doable. So it's a new environment, yes, but I think it's a challenging one, but you can always find opportunities for you to grow.
What's your vision in the engineering environment? Where do you want to see yourself maybe in the next 5 to 7 years coming in engineering environment?
I would say the short-term goal for the moment is because this is the graduate development program, so it's to finish the graduate development program in the environment that we are finding ourselves in this company. Obviously, because of this job securities that we have in South Africa, since we are known as the highest country with the employment rate, highest unemployment rate. So secure a permanent job first. Yes, because even where we are now, this is not guaranteed that we're going to get permanent employment. So get to that phase first, because before you can deal with other things. Secure permanent employment, and then work your way around the company. So we don't have to necessarily say, I want to move from where I am and then to being a senior manager. That's impossible. That's impossible. You need to, obviously, I always believe that certain things you need to start at the ground level for you to understand, for you to not to crumble along the way. Understand your
understand
basics, the principles first, and then appreciate the principles that you have, and then use that, and then because you are building yourself, right? You are a brand on your own, so you are building yourself to a point where now you want to see yourself. So enjoy that moment, meet up with the people, network with people, because in that way you are creating bonds with them, I would say, for the lack of a better word. There's a relationship that you're creating with people that some of them are there to hold you by the hand to say, in this journey, I'm going to work with you. So always do that, and then until you work your way around, and then never stop learning. Never stop learning. Always be open-minded about certain things until you work your way up, until you get a position where you want to be yourself, you find yourself in.
Okay, I get it. But holistically, what are some of the long-term goals, maybe some things that you would love to achieve, in the long run? Just anything generally.
It's mostly making an impact, and not just only to myself or the community where I'm coming from, but to the country as a whole, right? But they say always charity begins at home. Mine is to start a business because I don't want to stay in corporate for long years. So my thing is to get all the technical experience that I need to have, upskill myself, get all the necessary skills that I need, and build my own company at the end. I'm thinking of something that's mostly focused on technology. Not really too sure, because I was thinking also engineering consultants, but anything that is basically, it's there to solve the real life problems that are really focused on your underdeveloped societies, as long as they can make an impact on those people. Because from what I've seen, we still have areas in this country of ours, after so many years into democracy, we still have places that are not paid attention to. If you go to places, let's say somewhere here in where we are in this province, the provinces that you're coming from, you'll learn that there are some areas or villages that still do not have access to clean water. Number one, we are still using the old system of boreholes, whereas the cities that are being paid attention to, they're the ones that are getting developed, but the other ones, they are not taken into consideration, which is a little bit unfair, because everything should be equal, right, to everyone, right? We all have rights to access all the basic needs that we need, but you'll find that some other areas, they do not receive that much attention. So I'm tackling, my focus is to helping and emancipating those people that are in those kind of environments. So having my own company that will, I'm not really sure what, but it has to be along manufacturing and a technology-based company that will always make the life of the next person a good thing.
Right. Sure. I mean, that's a great thing, man, to hear. And what I can say is that, you know, in the previous episode with Mohau, I mentioned that if you ask everyone, you will find out that each and every person has a goal and there's a vision or a dream of some sort. But what's important is that you don't let it to stay a dream, but you try and you start whatever you need to start and try to make it work and believe that it's gonna work. Because if you can imagine something in your mind, the fact that it came to your mind and you ask yourself questions, why are some villages or some communities, you know, not having access to clean water? You know, and I'm sure you have some sort of, you know, a solution in your head, in your mind. The fact that you have that in your mind, it means that that thing is possible. But because, you know, of the noise and because of, you know, how as people we are just made, we think that maybe some things they are, you know, suitable for specific individuals, that it's people like Elon Musk who can do it. But you went to UJ, you studied mechanical engineering, you finished on record time, you succumbed, you went through a lot of things, but you still conquered. You can do that as well, you know. So I feel like it's something that you should put it down, write it down, let it be something that you always remember and think about, that this is the impact that I want to do. You know, in South Africa, this is the impact that I want to do in those communities that don't have access to clean water, because it's really an issue. Where I come from as well, it's clean water, but it has its own days. You know, it depends on the water affairs government, whatever that is. So they decide when to open the pipes for us to get water, and they do that mostly on Saturdays. So we don't have, you know, constant running water all the time. So it's an issue that needs to be resolved. And who is supposed to resolve it if it's not us? You know what I mean? We are the youth of this generation, and it's people like us. Not to say that it's people who are educated only who can make a change, but we were fortunate to get a chance to study and to be emancipated with the education that we got. And the way we think right now is not the same as we used to think when we were in grade 12 or in high school. And it will be very useless for us to just apply our knowledge only to benefit somebody's company where we are working on. Yes, we need to apply our mind, we need to give our 100% at work, but let's also give 100% into benefiting our villages, our communities, and our country. You know what I mean? So I think that's one of the most important things, that, you know, if it's a dream to you, don't let it just stay a dream. Write it down and always think about that, Konje, I have this thing to accomplish, and you have to put action into making it work. And I mean, things will happen. You know what I mean? It might take time to fulfill some of those things, but they will eventually happen if you really want to see them happening, because it all depends on how bad do you want it. You know, many people will tell you that they want they want to do certain things. Some, when they were young, they said, I want to grow up so that I can have money and help the poor and whatever. But today, some of them got, because sometimes when you speak, you're not just speaking to yourself or to the next person.
Yeah.
There is an invisible person who is hearing whatever you are saying. And sometimes when you say it, it's more like a prayer to him. He takes whatever you're saying, and some people said, I want to go to school and I want to become rich so that I can help the poor. And God heard that. And he granted them riches, he granted them wealth. But once they become wealthy, they forget the promises that they made.
Correct.
Because they were not just telling them to the next person, but God was hearing it, and he granted you wealth, he granted you riches, he granted you the capability. But now you forgot that this is your purpose and this is what you were supposed to do. You know what I mean? With the wealth that God gave you. So that's a very great idea. There's for myself as well, there's so much that I want to accomplish, but I understand that everything one step at a time, one step at a time. If I can just say, to just quantify that God can make things possible that you may think it's impossible. When I was in high school, there are some people whom, when I tell them about my dreams, that I want to become a mechanical engineer, and I want to accomplish certain things.
Sure.
Sometimes I tell them, this particular car is my dream car, the Rolls Royce Wraith. Some people would laugh and be like, you are dreaming. You know what I mean? One person once commented on my Facebook channel in 2020. I posted the Rolls Royce Wraith, and that guy commented, was like, if you want to buy that car, forget it. It's 8.5. He said it's 4 million.
Yeah.
And then I responded on the comment and said, actually, it's not 4 million. The Rolls Royce Wraith starts from 8.5 million, and I'm definitely going to buy it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And some people didn't even believe in my dreams that I want to finish high school and I want to go and study in UJ.
Yeah.
Some people didn't believe that. Some people were just like, yeah, you're bluffing, whatever, you're being too ambitious. But looking at how far I have come, I can say that is only God's grace. And it's only because God saw the reason why I wanted to do those things. Because I always had reasons with God. I want to go and study at University of Johannesburg, study mechanical engineering, so that I can do 1, 2, 3, 4 for my village, for our country, and for my family, and for myself personally. God heard those prayers. He heard that, and he granted me what I desired. Now is that time where I need to execute what I promised. Which is some people forget. Some don't forget, but when they get to a point, where they are supposed to make a plan, to put action, they be like, is this thing gonna work?
Yeah.
This thing might not work, But what's important is that if you know that something it's your purpose, it's possible. It's possible. It's your dream. We can have similar dreams, but you might see a particular thing in a different way, and in a way that if you start it, it's gonna work. We can have a similar dream, but be a dream that only you can accomplish it.
Sure.
Because of the way of approach and the way of doing it.
Yes.
So what you mentioned is one of the most important thing that I think you should keep it in your mind every time, and put in action and do whatever it takes, to execute it and actually accomplish it. So what I would like to know, what is the most favorite thing about yourself? I think this is the most important question, because sometimes we see other people, we appreciate the way how other people articulate themselves.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, this guy is a great guy, and whatever. But what is something that you love about yourself? It might be one, there may be 2 or 3, but I just want to know, what is it that you appreciate and love about yourself?
That's a difficult one. I'm a social being, number one. Let's start there. So I would say one thing that I appreciate is the God-given talent that I was given, which is being able to make friends wherever I go. So whoever I meet, I'm one person who can just randomly, without even knowing, meeting you at the first time. Right. I can just start a conversation with you without having any other agenda or plans. And then from there we just click. And then that becomes an easy thing. So I understand with most people, right? I would say it's a difficult thing to do, right? Approaching someone that you have never have any interaction with. So with me, it becomes an easy thing, right? It's one thing that I've realized with myself. And even with people, they will even tell you to say, why is it that you know so much around the place? And it's only that starts to with just a simple conversation that we're having. It doesn't necessarily have to be something big. Just a simple greeting with someone, and then could build a relationship just like that. So with me, it's just being the ability to go through to a person without any fear, and then just start a conversation with that person. That's the one thing that I would say.
There's the other thing that I want to know. How are you able to keep up with watching the news every day? like one thing about you is that you always prioritize watching the news. But I can't. Like I tried in December. You know, in December I told myself that okay, I want to change my life. I want to start watching news. I want to read. I want to make sure that I read a book and finish it every month. It's been a little bit hard. You know, if we talk about watching news, I only watch news. I think once in December when I was home, and then reading books. You know, I've tried. You know, I'm still trying to read, and I really want to work on it. Even watching news, I want to work on it because I think there's so much that is happening here in our country, in South Africa, that we as youth we need to know. And we need to consume that knowledge from whatever that is happening, you know, and come up with solutions where we can. So how are you able to keep up with watching the news every day?
But I always tell people these things, it's something that didn't start just now. It's something that I grew up with. So I grew up around my grandparents' house. So each and every time they would send me to go and buy newspapers. So whenever free moment that we'll have at the house, just like in free times that we have, they will always watch news and I'll be right next to them. Right. That's where everything started. So with the newspapers, I also started reading newspapers from a young age. So I've always been that guy with an inquisitive mind to say, I didn't want just to limit myself. Right. So I just know everything that's happening in South Africa because the world is changing. We are all a nation that's interconnected at some point. So you can't just only be focusing on things that are happening in the country. You need to know what's happening. Our economy is being affected by what country? The commodities that we have is affected by what? The decisions that we make, they are not only affecting us, but they affect the global world. Right. So that's everything started. So that's how I ended up watching news. And I prioritize my time. So at the particular time, that was like, okay, this is my time for me to keep up with the current affairs. Right. Even with the books. Yes, there are books that I tend to read now and then. But that love of being able to extract knowledge from or having where you can get the knowledge from, the wisdom from, it's just not only the books, but it only started from the newspapers, watching news, up to the books that I've been reading. So with that, to prioritize, I always make it my own time to watch news. Most times.
I think I need to work on that, man. And I should watch news because, there's so much that we need to know as youth of this generation. It's one of the important things. What do you believe is your purpose? Like what you believe that this is the reason why God made me, and He said, "You, Hosiami, I'm sending you to South Africa to do 1, 2, 3, 4, to accomplish this and this and this before it's all said and done." What is it that you believe that God made you for?
To be quite honest, I've always had difficulties in answering that question. Serious. Because I keep on changing things now and then. But I think everything just brings me to one thing. Always be able to change the other person's life. So it doesn't matter whether is it financial wise, because I don't really believe much into finance things. Yes, I understand that finances, we need to support people financially, and finance is one of the other things that we need to have, because everything that we need, obviously there's a price attached to it. But for me, I just we are humans. So, and then the best interactions to have, to the interactions that we have, it's if we're having one-on-one conversation with human beings. So that's my thing. So I've always being the person that wanted to always put a smile on other people's faces all the time. So no matter how much or difficulties that we've been going through, as long as I can have a conversation with you and make a positive change, it could be because of what I've just said or whatever that you just shared, but as long as you are gonna be, after our conversation or the engagement rather, you will always be relieved, and then you feel like all the burden that you were carrying, you have just dumped it, and then you are now a revived spirit. You are now a better person after that. I think that's the one purpose that God created me for.
Right. Yeah, a very important point that you said, that not everything is about the price, or the finances. Some of our purposes don't even involve that. It's just you. It just needs you and your personality to change someone's life. It might be by talking to them. It might be by giving them an advice, or just by having a random conversation with them, or just doing something that doesn't even involve money. Because there's so much that we can do, without involving finances and whatever. That's one of the most important things. Now people, they think when you say you need to serve a purpose, they think that you need to be that person who's gonna, you give people money, you go to the shops, you find people, you give them money, and now there's, because it's social media and everything, everyone wants to be, it's like everyone wants to be seen, because people be meeting people, okay, you want some money, they give you some money and whatever, it's okay, it's fine, but I feel like some people, they're just doing it because they're trying to build a brand for themselves, and they want something that people will watch and people will appreciate them. They're not actually doing it because it's in their heart. You know what I mean? It's that thing of, if you understand return on investment, you will see, but some people, they are not actually doing it for the love of helping other people. They are doing it because that video that they're going to post, when people see them, giving people money or do whatever, like, oh, this guy is so kind and whatever. And then the video becomes popular and whatever. So it's important that you do everything genuinely and authentically. You realize that to change someone's life, you don't need a price sometimes. You don't need a price. It just needs to be your authentic self. Being genuine, towards those people, and having a meaningful conversation with them, it can change their lives. I've bumped to many of these type of posts that when you're approaching the edge of life, when it's about time, when the time has arrived, let's say maybe you're in hospital where you can feel that now, okay, it's time. It's God's time. Apparently people say, when it's time, people, you feel it and you know it. Apparently people say that what you look for or what you long for is not your achievements, it's not your degrees, it's not how much money you have in the bank, it's not how many cars or how many houses you bought. Or what you look for is the people that you love to be closer to you, to be there with you when you are in that point of time where you are about to meet your maker. So I bump into a lot of those type of posts, and they make me wonder, okay, it might be real that people know it when it's time. It might not be real that they know it, but that's a very important thing to know, if that's the case, then why can't we just value the people who love us and the people that we love more, and not value, the cash the way how we value it right now? Because one thing that I realized is that time is the most important thing than money. That is why when they quantify a wealthy person, and then and a middle class or a poor person. A wealthy person is a person who can make money in a short period of time. But a mid-class person or a poor person is a person who can make money as well, but they make it in a longer period of time. For example, to bring it home, a person who is working a 9 to 5, who is paying money to a certain provident fund company to keep their money. They're going to get that money after maybe 40 years when they retire. That's an investment, they're getting it, but after 40 years. So that's the difference between a wealthier person and the person who is not wealthy. That tells me, okay, Kushuti, the most important thing is actually not the paper here. It's time. It's time. So I feel like we should value that more and value people who are around us and just spread love to the people who love us and to the people who care about us more.
Agreed.
And not do everything that we do for the cash or for the money or whatever. So I think that's a very important thing. Mr. Moshori, thank you, man, for joining me in this podcast. As you know, the purpose is to share stories like yours that you just shared, how you had difficulties going to varsity, losing funding, because I know that there are people out there who might be going through the same thing, and when they watch this episode, they might actually be inspired and be like, okay, I'm going to keep going. If this guy could do it, I can do it. So I really appreciate you for coming through and accepting my invitation, and I wish you well, man, in everything that you do in life. I really wish that God blesses you in your career, in your dreams, in your visions, in your business idea. I really hope that God will bless you and you will flourish and you will go far in life. Thank you very much for coming through, even though you just walked from your room.
I'm not coming from far.
You're not coming from far, man.
Coming from far.
Yeah, thank you very much, man.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mudau, and thank you for the time. Also for calling me up to your interview. I know this is something that we shouldn't be taking it for granted. Because we are here as the future leaders. We like to see ourselves as future leaders, and then we have generations that is coming after us. Right? Those are the people that we are also need to speak to. Right. So this conversation surely will help someone else. Right. To draw motivation from our struggles that we've been having. Right. And use that as something that will motivate them to go to greater heights. And with you on your side, thank you for your words, your kind words. I also wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you, man.
The relationship that we've been having, starting from when I first known you in 2022 up to now, we have never had any agreements. And I see that the relationship is going much more stronger. Congratulations also with you starting this platform. We shouldn't also be taking it for granted because you are causing an impact to people. So may God also bless you.
Thank you, man.
I see a lot of potential in you, even though some people may not see some of the other things. But as long as you care to believe in yourself, everything great is on in your name, sir.
No, thank you, man.